wish they are right now. Because at the end of the day, I don't feel exhausted, even if I've been on my feet all day in Vionics. And it all comes down to the arch support, the comfort underfoot, but the Tide is about as easy to wear as it gets. And we have a new upper today in that beautiful eyelet cutout design in pretty colors, whole sizes. If you're a half size, you're going to size down.
Let's have a look. Yeah, we'll show what it does. Absolutely. So, you know, look, I know this is a demonstration we do quite a lot, but it is really the best way to show you the difference that this biomotion technology will make for you. And the beauty of it is, Jen, is you don't have to wait 2 or 3 or 4 weeks to see the difference. You slip in here and we'll be able to show you the difference it makes straight away, because Kylene has been a great sport and let me draw some lines along her legs. And we're seeing here the problem, the hard flat surface, that foot's rolling over to try and meet the ground. And that's going to create a misalignment, not just in the foot, but it's actually going to run all the way up the leg, even into the lower back as well. Now, what the foot looks like in its more natural alignment is this here. So that's my hand supporting her, and you see those lines have straightened up. But if I take the support away, everything starts to roll in. And even just comparison, let's talk about that little flip-flop you were just alluding to earlier.
The 2 for $10 one.
It's actually rolling over more because there's more cushioning underneath the foot, right? So it's doing you actually even worse.
You're better on just bare ground.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, no, you're better off just trying the Shona.
Well,
you're trying this biomotion technology, right? Because now, as soon as we pop Kylene into that footbed, now you see that line's a lot straighter. Now the foot's a lot closer to being where it should be in its natural alignment. And even if I just turn you to the side here, Kylene, I just want to show this and just sort of show you how that orthotic technology, look at that arch profile, how it's really coming up to hug the curves and contours of Kylene's foot. And even, again, I'll just slip you out of that. Let's just show the comparison. Right here. And it's almost like that line's almost going in underneath the foot, right? So that foot's rolling over to try and meet the ground. Again, take her out of that, pop you into the Tide, and now you can see how the ground's coming up to meet the foot. So that's the difference. That's how we're going to deliver you that wonderful stability, that balance back into your life with every single step. And it's really where Vionic pioneered this, because to have this...
How great these look. And that's the beautiful thing. Like, how many things do we do, even though, look, I try to drink a lot of water during the day. I don't like to, you know what I mean? Like, you always put little flavors or lemon slices or something in there. We're always trying to do better, but it's usually not something we want to do. And maybe you go, you know what, I know to prevent future foot pain or foot misalignment or, you know, knee and joint, I should be wearing X shoe, but I don't want to because they're not pretty. So we wear the pretty shoes, right? And women especially, that's just, you know, we're all guilty of it. I am too. And then I realized I can have the cake and eat it too. I can have the cute sandal, and at the end of the day, oddly find that I have more energy than when I first got out of bed that day. And that's a huge statement, but that's my personal testimonial to the Vionics. So now you're informed, and that's great, but in the end, Liam and his team, they took care of all of the science. Now you just get to pick a cute color, and instead of paying the retail value of $89, you're only paying $59.90, if you don't mind. I always say I started with Tide, and I say that because A, it's the truth, and B, this is how most of you have started with the brand. You started by picking up what looked like just a really adorable flip-flop, an adorable thong sandal, and then you realize the contours underneath, the science inside of it, made not just your feet feel fabulous, but your entire body feel better. Knees and hips and back.
Size. So 8.5 down to an 8, 7.5 down to a 7. And if you're on the whole size, stay with that, you'll be good as gold. And then from a width perspective, we've only made this in a medium width. And the reason being is because the Tide construction is one of our most forgiving constructions in the range. So medium to a slightly wider foot type, you'll be good as gold with this one.
All right, so now let's get into why they're so dang comfortable. That is life-changing. And from someone who spent way too long in the way wrong shoes for hours and hours and hours, and I'm now paying the price for it, I love Vionic Tides. They're what I wear around the house, and they're what I wear outside of the house as well, because having that support is a rarity in that it is instant gratification.
Exactly, and it's funny, like so many people have so many pairs of the Tide, and I was chatting to my wife about this last night, and she was saying, I have different versions. So the new ones, they're the good ones, but like yesterday it was raining, she wasn't going to wear her good ones out in the rain, so then she went to the second tier of Tide that she's had.
Stacey, and I totally relate. Yeah, I got my fancy ones and the casual ones.
Out in the garden are the ones from 7 years ago when she was painting the basement, so they got little paint splecks on them.
Awesome.
So yeah, but that's why we have to keep bringing you these wonderful Tides in all these these different iterations. But we can have a look at what the technology is going to do. Like this was the start of that aha moment with that original sandal that we just had a look at, but the principle still remains the same of what we're able to deliver you. So here's the problem. It's not Kylene, it's actually the hard, flat, unnatural surface. But just let me show you what's happening here. I've just realigned her foot, and now you see how those lines have straightened up. But if I take that support away, everything starts to roll back over again. That's what we know as overpronation or excess pronation. And that can put a lot of stress and strain on the soft tissues and joints in the foot and the lower leg, and even create some issues running up the leg and even into the lower back as well. And just as a comparison, Jen, let me just pop Kylene into just that regular flip-flop. She's actually rolling over more now because she's actually got cushioning underneath the foot. So it's actually rolling over even further. So let me just take you out of that. And this is the cool part, right? We pop her into here, and as you said, that instant gratification. Now you can see the lines a lot straighter. You don't have to wait 2 or 3 or 4 weeks to see the difference. You slip your foot in here, you get that natural alignment and that feeling of relief straight away.
And what I always love to say is, okay, so we don't have the X's and the dash marks all over our legs, right? But you're smart enough to realize, wait, if it's adjusting my ankle, well, every bone's connected to every bone. So if it sorts all that out, it's sorting out every subsequent joint and bone, which is why at the end of the day, you feel so much better. Actually, can you come back to that close-up, because I think this is important. Look at how it is contouring to meet every curve of my foot. We do the flashlight test sometimes here on the air, right? We put that flashlight underneath, and you can see all kinds of light coming through under non-supportive shoes. And this blocks out every gap. It's like a membrane foam mattress that fills in the curves of your back.
Well, you saw how your foot was sitting into the footbed, not on top of it, right? If that makes sense. So